Hi, welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, well, I'm super excited to bring you this, an entry-level Slash. Now, if you've seen the previous video where I did an Ultimate, why am I super excited about the basic entry-level one? Well, let me put it down, it's a bit heavy. Well, you see, when you've got loads of budget, it's really easy to throw loads of cool parts at an RC and release it. But when you've got a small budget to work with, companies have to work really hard to bring out the best they can with the budget that they've got available, and that can be really challenging. Also, in this part of the market, there's some real competition. So today we're going to unbox the basic Slash, take a look at it, see what you get for your money, see how it performs, take it out for a bit of a spin, and then in a future video we're going to put it head to head with some of its main competitors. So this one for me is really exciting, as it's not as easy as it looks. So if you'd like to see that, stay tuned. Hit it, Charlie. So let's unbox this basic Slash. So let me just get my scalpel. Now, after the last video, I know that this is the side that's got the transmitter in it, just to make my life a bit easier. As the last video, I opened both sides because I was an idiot and I forgot what side it was. So the first thing you get when you open it up is the transmitter. Now, if you've watched the previous video, the transmitter looks almost the same, but it's not. This one doesn't have the module for the link up so that you can get all the telemetry. But for me personally, that makes no difference. Transmitter is fine. It's kind of, I wouldn't say it's premium, but it's good enough. The only thing with this that I find is it's quite a full-size transmitter. So one-handed driving is pretty much impossible. You'd have to get the modification to do that. That would be nice if they actually put that in the box. I think that's something they're missing out on completely, having a one-handed driving. Also, a lot of people like to film them running now, so having something that you can actually put your camera phone would be really nice. But as a transmitter goes, it's perfectly fine. The only other thing really is it only works with one vehicle. So if you've got two or three, you're going to end up with quite a few of these, where then it becomes a bit of a faff that you'd rather just have one that has multiple memory. Then we've got the car itself. And then we have a bag of bits. Here we go. All right, let's get rid of the box. I thought my bigger studio would be able to cope with all this stuff, but I still run out of space. So we'll come on to the car. The actual bag of bump that you get is slightly different compared to the Ultimate one. Let me open it up. There we go. Now, this doesn't have alloy shocks with the threaded collars, so it comes with the sort of standard Tamiya collars, if you will, where you actually slot them in, so you get a whole range of those to change the rate on the springs. One thing that you get in this that you don't get in the Ultimate one was you actually got some numbers to stick on the vehicle, whereas the Ultimate comes with the number actually attached already, which I thought was kind of strange, as you think it would have been better just to do this for the Ultimate one. But that's one thing I noticed that was different. Then we get the block that goes into where the battery is. This is obviously depending on the size of the battery. You can have this in to stop your battery from sliding up and down. That's exactly the same. Then we get the optional speed pinion, and you get a extra spur gear. So if you want to make it go that little bit faster, you're going to need to fit that. Now, this kit comes with a battery, which is in the car at the moment. We'll actually take a look at that in a minute. But you get a charger as well. Now, this is good and a little bit at the same time. Now, it's pretty decent. It's a 6 to 7 cell NIMH 4 amp charger, so it's fine, but you need to plug it into your car. So that's going to be an issue if you've bought this for someone who's getting into the hobby or you're just starting out, because that is a bit of a faff. Now, I had a look online and you can buy the plug adapter for this for $7.99. So that was the way that I would recommend going. Get the adapter and then you can just charge it from the wall, and that will do you fine to get you started. Now, you can get a dedicated Traxxas charger, but you're looking at another 50 odd pound on top of that, and I probably wouldn't bother at this time, because at the moment you just want to go out and enjoy it, and you don't want to spend more money if your budget is limited. So I would just buy the adapter. It's pretty straightforward. Anyway, then you get a few basic tools, slightly different to the Ultimate one. Not that you really will use these unless you've got no other tools at all, but in a pinch they're better than nothing. You get some extra body pins, which is always good because you're bound to lose some. Then you get your usual bump that we basically saw in the Ultimate one, your warranty card, Traxxas Slash guide, and this actually has all specifications in it, and I'm hoping that there's a breakdown diagram in this as well, like there was. Yes, there is, which is definitely something you really want to see as you want to start wrenching on this, fixing your own damage and things like that. So that is really good to see. Even in the entry-level one, I was a bit worried that maybe they would take that out. Then you get more advertising that we've kind of seen exactly the same in the Ultimate one, what different batteries, and then we get the basic Slash user guide, just the same as well. You can download that if you want the digital copy, and that's pretty much all you get apart from the car. So let me just clear this away and then we'll look at the car. So I am a big fan of this colour. Yeah, for me, I really like it. Super vibrant. I actually prefer this to the Ultimate one that I did the other day. There is no difference between this and the Ultimate body. They're all the same. They're just painted up differently, or transferred, whatever you want to call them. But I do like this one. I must admit, if I was going to keep one body, this would be it. Now, same pins. Let me just take the pins out so we can look at the chassis. Now, one thing that I definitely kind of expected when I got both of these, and I've never looked inside them, was they're going to be very similar. Yes, the brushless motor and things like that, and optional extras like the aluminium shocks, all that I expected to see. But what I didn't expect to see was basically a totally different chassis. Now, this has the standard Slash chassis. It doesn't have the low center of gravity chassis. So the first thing you'll notice, it's like a big tray that kind of sticks up in the air. Now, the ground clearance on this thing is huge. But if you're going to be going over the rough stuff, and that's what we're going to do with this one today, having that extra ground clearance is a really good idea. For racing and handling, if you're going to be driving on the road, then obviously going to a lower centre of gravity chassis would be beneficial. Now, I had a look at what it costs to upgrade this, and it's £36. So I think that's a brilliant upgrade that you probably want to do early on if you decide that you're going to run it on the road more and you want it to handle better. So that will be something that we'll be doing in a future video. The battery in this one is right in the center. One thing I've noticed, look how many bits of card are in this. Warning this and warning that. Let me just take all these off because we're not going to run it with those anyway. But there was lots of information cards about batteries and motors and all kinds of stuff. But we don't really need to look at that. But if you're starting out, definitely worth reading. And then the battery that comes with this one, which again I think is really good, is the power cell Traxxas. And that is an 8.4 volt. Yeah, 8.4 volt, 3000 milliamp hours. So it gets you going. And at 8.4 volts, that's pretty good. Now, being that that's included in the price, as well as the charger, you can get yourself up and going pretty much straight away. Now, for £266 in the UK, this is pretty competitive. There's a lot of other brands that are not as big as Traxxas that are bang on in this range. So it'll be really interesting to see how this compares against those, and we will be doing that in a future episode before we do an upgrade of this. Also, I'm going to do another video where we do select upgrades. I've already put in a list of upgrades that I'm going to buy to improve this, to then put it up against the Ultimate Slash. So it has the XL5 ESC, fully waterproof. Again, brilliant for a youngster that when it gets all dirty and muddy, you can just wash it down with the hose, and then you can oil your bearings every now and again. Servo is a plastic servo. It should tell me what it is. It's the 2075 servo. So at some point you probably will end up having to upgrade that. One thing that's nice about this chassis is it's super easy to upgrade the servo. Now this one isn't the bare bones Slash. It comes with extra LEDs. This is something new that they've done for their entry-level kits. So you get 4 LEDs at the front and you get 2 red ones at the back, which I really like that. I wish that was actually on the Ultimate Slash, but you don't get it, believe it or not. Now it comes with plastic shocks all round, but they're not bad shocks, and I've been looking into these and looking at other reviews, and people say the shocks are actually really good. You can change the springs. They do like lots of different spring rates, but a lot of people recommend upgrading the tops to alloy because these pop off. There's a screw thread in there, and apparently when you've been jumping it and bashing it, they tend to rip off. So that's one upgrade that everyone recommends, and that's one thing that's on the list that I'm actually going to do. Now, after looking at the Ultimate version, they did upgrade the arms, but these look pretty beefy, if I'm honest. They don't look super fragile, but I will upgrade them to the Ultimate in a future video. Now the motor, it's brushed obviously, but apparently this is ready to take brushless. So if you decide to do an upgrade to brushless, if you want to add more power down the line, then just swapping out the ESC and the motor, which is pretty straightforward in this kind of configuration, is really easy. So that's something you could probably do down the line. Another thing people comment about is the rear drive shafts can be a little bit soft. So now if I was going to upgrade this, I think I would drive it until I broke something, then I would upgrade it. Because one of the things you've got to remember is when you buy a ready to run, you're paying for these parts. So if you buy a ready to run and then instantly rip out the motor, the ESC, the servo and the transmitter, well, you paid for those and that's a total waste. So you're better off enjoying it, breaking it, then upgrade the parts. Drive it again, break something else, upgrade it. That's a much better way of doing it, not just upgrading for the sake of it. It's turnbuckles all round, so you can adjust all your camber and your steering toe in, toe out, so you know you still have a reasonable amount of control over it. It does surprise me just how high this chassis is. Getting access to the steering, again, is all plastic, but you can upgrade this if you want to. But the plastic quality is all lovely. You know, I look at this and I don't think it's cheap and cheerful. It does feel reasonably premium. Now these tyres apparently are not the same as the ones on the Ultimate, but I don't think I'd even notice, if I'm honest. They seem fine. Now obviously it depends on what you're going to be driving on, whether you want to change these tyres out, but I would enjoy it as it is, wear out the tyres, having fun, and then look at upgrading them. There's no point buying an entry level one like this and then spending double again before you've even started. Right, I think that pretty much covers everything, so let's charge up the battery and take it for a bit of a spin and see how it handles bolt stock. This video is sponsored by Rochester RC. Head over there and you can get 5% plus free shipping in the UK. Massive thanks for them for sponsoring this video.